Good day, my dear friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Osam Ibrahim from Easy and Different Radiology. Today, our appointment with Mnemonic word number 14. The topic today about high signal in the T1, and I consider this topic one from the most famous and important radiological topic, and to remember the causes which can resulting in high signal in the T1 MRI sequence. uh, can remember it by the mnemonic word my best friend is pretty cool. My best friend is pretty cool. This is the causes which can resulting in high signal in the T1, like this dermoid cyst which appearing high signal, or this endometrioma which appearing high signal, or this flow in the superior sagittal thrombosis in the T1 which representing thrombosis in the superior sagittal sinus and appearing a high signal in the T1, or this hemorrhage in the pituitary gland. So let's get started our short presentations about the mnemonic word my best friend is pretty cool. First of all, to discriminate the T1 from the T2 in MRI, you can discriminate it by the element in the body. If the element fat element appearing bright, however the water element appearing dark, so you have only one element appearing bright, so this is the T1, T1 and 1. However, if the fat appearing bright and water also in the CSF, in the ventricles appearing bright like this one, so now you have two elements bright, subcutaneous fat and the water in the ventricle. At that time, the two bright element representing T2 to remember only the difference between T1 and T2. Our topic today about the T1, T1 like this image, and anything appearing bright like this hemorrhage in the image, we consider it one from the differential diagnosis, which remembered by the mnemonic word, my best friend is pretty cool. So, what is the differential diagnosing of my best friend is pretty cool? My M from melanin, like melanin metastasis from melanoma primary at any place of the body, and if the lesion is multiple and appearing metastatic lesions and you have known primary, so melanin can considering a cause of the high signal in the T1. B from blood in the subacute methemoglobin, because the blood can be appearing in acute, hyperacute, subacute, early and late subacute, and also in chronic phases. In the subacute phase, early or late, it appearing high signal in the T1. And F from fat or flow, any fat in the body appearing normal fat like subcutaneous fat or mesenteric fat, or fat in the spaces of the neck appearing bright. However, abnormal fat also like dermoid cyst can appearing also, or lipoma can appearing high signal in the T1. If another F from flow, if there are slow in the venous sinuses of the brain, for example, resulting in high signal in the T1, and disease slow flow representing thrombosis or stagnations of the blood due to venous sinus thrombosis. And B from protein like colloid cyst protein or Raynaud's cleft cyst if containing proteins. Any proteins can appear contents in the lesions. In protein contents of the lesions can appear in a high signal in the T1. And B, another P from posterior pituitary gland. If there are normal posterior pituitary gland appearing a high signal in its normal position, and this signal helping us to discriminate the ectopic pituitary gland if it is not present in their location, normal locations, by the high signal in the T1. And the third B is from paramagnetic substance like copper or manganese. Manganese toxicity resulting in high signal lesions in the brain also, and this also can consider from one of the differential diagnosing of high signal in the T1 according to the patient history, depending here in the patient history. And the last differential diagnosis is C cool from contrast like gadolinium or any other contrast in MRI appearing high signal but appearing through the location of the vessel, and the cholesterol like cholesterol granuloma in the apex of the petrous, for example, also appearing high signal in the T1. So the differential diagnosing of the high signal in T1 lesions, my best friend is pretty cool and remembered by melanin, blood, fat and flow, protein, posterior pituitary gland, and paramagnetic substance, and the last one C from contrast or cholesterol. Again, this diagram is representing the my best friend is pretty cool or high signal in T1. If I present it by case and have high signal in T1, the first issue could come in my brain is fat, and the other thing to thinking is the blood. Fat and the blood come on the top of the differential diagnosing without remembering of any other causes, and then according to the history of the patient and according other imaging in the film or finding, we can consider the other differential diagnosing if you wanted to add for the differential diagnosing. However, fat and the blood come on the top of the differential diagnosing of high signal in the T1. My best friend is pretty cool. The other causes of the differential diagnosing of high signal in the T1: M from melanin, like melanin metastasis; B from blood, like subacute methemoglobin, early or late phase, appearing high signal in T1; F from fat, like dermoid cyst or like normal fat in the body; and also another F from flow, like superior sagittal sinus thrombosis or any sinus thrombosis, deep venous sinus thrombosis, also appearing a high signal in the T1 due to slow flow of the blood within the vessel, and you can discriminate it by the anatomical locations of the blood vessel within the body and the abnormal signal within it. And P, there are three P as I mentioned in the previous slides. The first one is the protein, like colloid cyst or Russex cleft cyst, and another B from posterior pituitary gland, normal locations or ectopic locations, and the last P is a paramagnetic substance like manganese toxicity or copper toxicity. And the last letter is the cool from C. C is a contrast. Any contrast of the brain of the study of MRI can appearing a high signal, however, in the location of the arterial or venous distribution. And this another C is cholesterol, and the cholesterol like cholesterol granuloma, as I mentioned, or any cholesterol of the body appearing a high signal in the T1. This is everything, all thing about the my best friend is pretty cool to remember easily the differential diagnosing of high signal in the T1. Thank you very much, and you can also follow my Easy and Different Radiology group in the Facebook. I provide daily cases and important radiological notes, and also my presentations. I uploaded it in this group. And also you can watch more than 90 presentations on the my YouTube channel, the Easy and Different Radiology, by searching in Google search by the same name of the channel, or with me every Wednesday for MRI learning lesson, Sunday for anatomical review, and also Friday, like this Friday, for a new mnemonic word. Thank you very much and have a nice day.